Hello students, Miss Lockhart here. Let's have fun with paper and practice drawing and cutting different types of lines and then creating 3D lines out of paper. So you'll need some kid scissors and glue, liquid school glue, multiple pieces of construction paper in different colors. And if you would like a border, you'll need one large piece of paper, a square, and then a smaller square of a different color inside. My square is 7 by 7 inches, the big one, and the small one is 6 by 6 inches. Now, I'm putting a border on this, not just to make it look nice, but also to make the paper a little sturdier, because there will be a lot of other pieces of paper that are kind of heavy on top. So I'm going to add some glue, not too much glue, on the back of my smaller square. Dot, dot, not a lot. You don't need a lot of glue for this one. And let's spread that out and try to center it in the middle of our larger square. It's okay if it's not perfectly centered, but do try. And then see how I'm pressing it down and smoothing it out so that way there aren't many bumps from the glue. You can go ahead and do that as well. Now I would like you to write your first name on the front of your artwork right now, so that way you can see it when it's hung up. You can show anyone who looks at your art that you made it with your name there on the front. Okay, so I'm going to start with this piece of paper. It's not too big. It's about the size of my palm, the inside of my hand, and I'm going to use my scissors. Now remember to stay seated when you use scissors. You can always leave your scissors on the table when you get up. Now I cut a strip of paper and I'm going to kind of curl it up so there's a curved line made, and then I'm going to glue that curved line down in just a second. But I would like to draw a curved line on this piece of paper first, just to remind me that is what I'll be doing, making this paper curve off the page. It's going to be really fun. So take your glue and put medium-sized dots on both ends of your piece of paper. Fold it a little bit so it's going to be curved, and then hold down the ends with the glue on. Hold it down onto the base paper, the background paper, and make sure your paper has a loop in it or a curve that comes off the page. So you'll see in a second when I hold it up. Make sure you have a little loop that comes up, a curve, and then you just glue down the left and the right side of that strip to the paper. Now I had to hold that down for at least 20 seconds. You could even hold it down longer so it stays. Now on to the next fun paper line. I'm cutting a longer piece of paper this time. It's a little skinnier, but it's longer. And I'm going to practice rolling it up, and it's going to create a fun spiral line. So you can roll up a long piece of paper and make a tight little cylinder, and then when you open it, you'll see a spiral. Now this will be a fun thing to glue down and look really fun and playful, and it even has movement. So I'm just going to glue down the end of the paper that was not curled with a medium-sized dot of glue, and I'm going to put it down there and hold it down to make sure it stays. Now don't lift this background piece up for a long time. We want to make sure the glue is dry before you lift it. So go ahead and cut another strip of paper, of course any color you would like. Now I'm going to practice folding zigzag lines. So fold your paper over one way and then flip it, and fold it and then flip it. And just keep folding about the same amount of distance and then flipping it. And then you'll see when you open it, it'll start to look like an M or a W or a zigzag line. And you can fold and flip your paper all the way until you get to the end of your paper. And look here, you'll see a fun springy zigzag line. So I'm going to glue that down one side of the paper that touches the ground or the background. So I'm going to even fold that down a little bit more, and I'm sort of lining it up so I can see. How do I want this to be glued? Okay, so I put some medium-sized dots on the left and the right side of my zigzag paper, and I put it down there on my background. You can decide where you want to put your 3D paper lines. You can put them anywhere you want on your background. Now I'm taking just a moment to make some fun lines, zigzag and spiral on my background paper, just to sort of remind me what I just made 3D out of paper, what kind of lines we just created. So I cut another strip here, and I want to make a circle. That's like the curved line that comes all the way around again. So I'm going to line it up, and you saw how it's overlapped to create a circle. And now I'm going to add a little bit of a design onto it. I'll just do a straight line, and then I'm going to curl it back around so that it makes a circle, and then put glue on one side of the paper, and then bring your other side of the paper around so it meets the glue. If it doesn't meet the glue, flip the paper, and then it will. And then you can glue this circular fun sculpture shape down anywhere you'd like. Now you have a fun 3D circle line. And again, cut another strip of paper, a different length, maybe a little shorter, and also make sure it's a different colored piece of paper. Add some fun decoration to it. You could even create a pattern. And now I'm going to just have fun creating different types of lines and repeating some of the shapes and lines I've done before. So I'm going to do another circle here, but this time I want it to connect to the circle before. So I brought it inside the circle before I glued it together. So you can experiment with different things that you might enjoy, different designs. Your paper shapes and lines can connect or intertwine. They can overlap. It'll be really fun when we're done. I love making these 3D paper sculptures. Okay, so I'm going to cut another strip of paper. It's a little bit thicker. And this one, I will make another circle, but I want it to glue down so that it looks like a cylinder coming off the page. So you'll see. I'm going to go ahead and draw some circles to create a pattern. And then I'm going to glue it together so that I have my circle again. And now I'm just going to glue this down, holding it together. And now I want it to just be flat on my paper like that. So I'm going to add some glue here on the very edge of this cylinder shape or circular shape. So I'm going to add glue there. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That glue, once it's dry, will hold it. Okay, so here we go. On for another fun piece of paper that looks like it's going to be a curved line. So I'm going to curve it, line it up how I want it, fold the ends this time, so that way when you make your curve, it comes up off the paper, more like a rainbow or semicircle. So I folded the ends here and then added some glue, a medium-sized dot of glue on both sides of the ends, and held it down. Do you see here how it is a curve, kind of like a rainbow, instead of like the blue curve? The blue curve is more like an inchworm, and this green curve I just made is more like a rainbow or a horseshoe because the ends are folded inward. So you can experiment making different fun kinds of 3D lines, anything you want. You can fold the paper, experiment. You can see here I'm making another fun spiral line with this long piece of pink paper. I curled it up pretty tight until the whole piece of paper was curled up into a little cylinder, and then when I open it up again, you can see the fun springy spiral. And I'm going to glue it here in the corner. That's a really fun line and a fun paper shape to make. Okay, now I'm going to use some of this orange. So I'll cut another strip here. I'm going to give it this is the kind of curve, it's going to be like that inchworm curve like we did with the blue piece of paper. Oh, actually I'm going to curve the bottoms in. So I curve the bottoms in, add a medium-sized dot of glue, hold it down, and then do the same thing to the other side. And then glue it down, kind of like a horseshoe or a rainbow semicircle line, a very curved line. It's really fun to try to make the curves be as 3D as possible, so make them come off the paper as much as possible. Just make sure to glue down both sides if you're making a curved arch or rainbow line. I'm going to make a pattern here on this piece of paper. I'm going to draw some spirals. I'm going to curl it up. Again, I love making those fun spiral lines. Now I need to curl it a little bit tighter, because if you don't curl it too tight, if you don't curl it tight enough, the spiral won't really show up. So make sure you make it really tight, like a little cylinder, and then add some glue once you see this spiral shape. Okay, so there is some more room. Might as well add more. I'm going to cut this blue piece of paper in half. It's a shorter strip of paper. So I'm going to draw a line and decorate it and do that little pattern. But since it's shorter paper, I'm going to glue the two pieces of paper together to create a longer piece of paper, which is something you can try too if you'd like to get a longer strip of paper. I'm going to do the same thing again here with this light blue piece of paper. I'm going to cut two strips of paper and then create a little pattern, draw a line, then glue them together to make an extra long, fun strip of paper. Now, because they're extra long, they can probably weave inside of another shape or another line on your paper. Okay, so I'll form that into a circular shape, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue that circular shape together, and you have to hold it for 10 to 20 seconds so it stays. And now I'm going to put more glue on it and find a good spot. That's a pretty good spot. I'm going to hold it down, make sure it stays. Now, I have this extra long blue strip. What should I do with this one? Well, it looks like before I use the light blue strip, I'm going to go ahead and decorate an orange one. Okay, and make another circle, holding it together just like I did with the blue piece of paper. And I'm going to go ahead and put it over here in the corner and hold it down so the glue stays. And now I'm going to fold this blue extra long strip. I folded the left and the right side, the ends of the blue paper, and I'm just trying to weave it through some other shapes. But be careful. If your other shapes are not all the way dry, they might come up off your paper. So just try not to pull your other pieces of paper up. Or you can just go right above all of your other pieces of paper like I did. Do you see how it goes over the top of all the other pieces? And I'll connect that line so that it matches. Okay, well, you can continue to add more fun shapes and lines with your paper. It's up to you. You can even connect different shapes that you made. That's what I'm going to do here with this pink piece of paper. Add a little decoration, some pattern, and look how I'll connect it to the top pieces of paper, the largest curves, and I'm going to go ahead and connect that there just so it becomes more 3D. Here you can see it's glued and it's stuck together. I've given it some time to dry, and now I'm going to add some fun pattern and colors and draw right onto my background paper. Lots of lines so that our line sculpture project looks finished with lots of detail. Okay, well, I hope you had fun and created some of your own fun paper sculptures. Can't wait to see what you've made, everyone. Good job!